Why does living in tight quarters in high pressure situations bring people closer together? Imagine being put in the scariest situation of your life with a group of absolute strangers that you've never met before. This is the situation I was put in 2 years ago when my parents decided to send me to camp in Israel. Let me put this into context. I left mid-July from Paris airport with a group of French Jews traveling to Israel. The only people I knew were Florian and Alexis, my godmother's sons, who had decided to go on this trip with me. The whole camp experience started out a little bit rough. We arrived at the airport in Paris as a group, only to find out that our flight was delayed. When we arrived in Israel, finally, after a 5-hour delay at the airport, we found out that the port we were supposed to use to get on the cruise we were scheduled to get on was closed, and we had to sleep on the coach bus. Gosh. We all woke up and got on the boat. The cruise to Cyprus from Haifa was a very interesting experience, full of conferences and talks given by interesting leaders in the European Jewish community. They had different points of views, not all of which everyone agreed with, and therefore some tension came with these talks. However, when we heard the news that the Hamas, a Palestinian terror group based on and funded by the Gaza Strip, had fired missiles onto Israel, we all shared a feeling of shock. We did not, though, realize the gravity of the situation until a few days later when we arrived in Tel Aviv. The next morning, we were told that there would be a miklat drill. Miklat means bunker in Hebrew. The next morning, we were woken up by the sound of an alarm blaring over the sound of Eye of the Tiger playing on the intercom. All of a sudden, the music stopped, but the alarm continued. We all thought it was a drill, but a few moments later, standing in a white room with minimal lighting, a fridge and 2 bare mattresses, we felt the bunker shake. The vibrations flowing through the ground, the dust coming off the ceiling, the entire room was filled with silence. Silence that masked fear. After the vibrations, we would all count in whispers. If we got to 500 seconds without feeling a vibration, we were safe to leave. If not, then we would stay. The third night, we slept in the bunker. 85 people to a room 3/4 the size of this stage. Wasn't very comfortable. My 11-year-old self was terrified, scared of the realness of the situation I was in. All I could do was tell myself that it would be okay, that this too would pass, and lean on my group of friends. Because we all needed to be there for each other, we got very close. Without realizing it then, we had built relationships that would last a lifetime. An example of one of these relationships is Johan. Johan and I met at the airport in Tel Aviv and became friends instantly. So much so, in fact, that we convinced the entire camp that we were brothers. Over the course of the trip, we became closer and closer friends. This is a relationship that we've maintained over the course of the past 3 years. Last summer, we saw each other in Shanghai and Tel Aviv. Johan is now 19 and living in Taiwan, helping to forge better military relationships between China, Israel, and France as his mandatory 3 years of service to Israel. This is just one of the many relationships I was able to form and maintain. So, why does living in tight quarters under high-pressure situations bring people closer together? To me, it's easy. The more time you spend with a person, the more time you spend getting to know them. Add in the factor of the intensity of the moments that we spent together, and there you have it. Now, high-pressure situations don't have to be when your life is at risk. These situations can be found in mundane events. Not to say that these are mundane, but 2 parents taking care of a newborn, a family grieving the loss of another family member, or even 2 students preparing for an exam. The way that 2 army vets who serve together can look across a room to each other and share an unspoken understanding. In reality, it depends on who you are and what the situation you are in means to you. The only thing you can do is try to acknowledge the relationships you have built during these moments and take advantage of them when you need them the most. Thank you.